Hi, Landi, and welcome back to Entrepreneurcast. Such a great pleasure to see you again today.
Hi, Svietlana. Good to see you as always.
So, Landi, today I would like to ask you about how do we raise our prices? How do we raise
Yeah,
our consultant fee? I think this is a huge issue for a lot of
yeah,
people. A lot of people I came across personally, they always struggle. They sell themselves short, and they
absolutely.
struggle with money because they simply can't raise their fees.
Yep.
So, off to you.
A lot of people approach me with this question, Svetlana, especially consultants. What happens? I call it consulting traps. A lot of people start their career off as a consultant at a consulting house, or they work for a bank, or they work for a big employer as a consultant. And then, ta-da, they're going to start their own consulting firm. They get out of corporate. And what happens is they get that one big client. It's sometimes that one big client or that second big client that allows them to make the transition from corporate into their own business. And before you see it, they're working themselves to death again. But this time not for an employer, this time for this one big client or this one big retainer, as many people would call it. So what happens with consulting fees with a lot of people is that they feel that now they got a salary at working for an employer. Now they've made the transition from salary into their own business. And now I should be so grateful for the fact that someone is taking my consulting services, and I'm new in the business, so I have to drop my fees. So, you said it so right, selling yourself completely short, and it's lots of times based on fear. I'm not confident enough, I'm not competent enough, I'm new in the game, and therefore my consulting fee should be lower than my competitor. And that's probably one of the biggest mistakes you can make when it comes to your own positioning, because when your consulting fees is that low, you are sending a message to your clients. And the message that you're sending to your clients is that I'm average, I'm actually not that good. The value I'm going to add to your business is okay-ish, and you're in essence saying that my competitors are better. So you're saying, take my competitors, they're better than I am, and I'll probably bring my fees up as I get better. That's the absolute wrong message for a consultant to send out there. So the number one reason people's consulting fees are low probably because it's of poor positioning. The second reason that I find happens is a lot of people go and they book out their hours as a consultant. So they say, listen, here's my services. I'm going to give you 3 hours a month. I'm going to give you 20 hours a month. I'm going to give you 100 hours a month. And this is my rate per hour. And now with that strategy as a consultant, you most certainly are going to hit a roof. You're going to hit a ceiling and your hours will be up. Many of these consultants that I work with has made the transition from corporate to their own consulting firm, and then they get to the point where there's no more hours left in the day, and they're working even harder than what they worked for a employer. So my answer to your question, Svetlana, would be to not actually book out your hours, but to look at alternative ways of packaging your professional services and your products so that you have marketing funnels and various streams of incomes as a consultant. And that will make your fees and your income go through the roof.
So can we talk about how can we actually do that? How
Yep.
do we package? What are the ways to package our services so
Right.
that we don't burn out in the end with
Yep.
working 12, 20 hours a day,
Yeah. And that's not necessary, it's no use. Consultants do this. They work themselves to death for an employer. They have massive amounts of, tasks that they bring out on a daily basis. And many of them come to me massively tired. They just say, I cannot do this anymore. I'm performing at this. And they get, burnout, and they get adrenaline fatigue. And the crazy thing about that is that once you hit rock bottom with your energy levels like that, they say the chemical structure of your brain can almost never recover from that. So dealing with life's problems, dealing with adversity, all that in future may become massively challenging for you. So you don't want to get to that point. You don't want to drive yourself to the point where you're completely burned out and then have to gradually build yourself up. So the biggest advice I can give to you My dear consultant friend, if you're listening to this today and you already started your own business and you're already doing the massive amount of hours, is to immediately change your business model from charging people per hour to charging people per project. That already will make a massive difference. Now, you may need a migrational strategy here, and this is what I help people specifically with, is to say, okay, so you have this big client or these big two clients, you'll have to sort of gradually reduce your hours with those clients and gradually build up projects with new clients. And that's normally how we get you from point A, totally tired, burnout, to actually getting a consulting firm where you charge per project. So I'll give you an example. If you're going to charge people per hour, there's always fights going on. Clients always say, oh, you know what, you've given me this invoice, you've done these 3 hours, but I don't see the results for these 3 hours. How many of you listening to this go, actually, I charged you for 3 hours, but I put 6 hours in for you. I did actually even more. So it's a lose-lose situation. A win-win situation is that I will give you A, B, C as deliverables and results. And for that, I'm going to charge you X amount. That works exceptionally well because they know exactly what they're going to get. You know exactly what you need to deliver. You know exactly how long it takes for you to deliver that. And once you're done, you're done. You invoice, you take the project, and you move on to the next thing, on to the next client who actually need your input and need your help. So that would be one of the ways that you can definitely go from an hourly rate and lower fees to a much bigger fee. That's one fee that includes deliverables and turnaround times and a target date attached to it. Everyone wins. It's a win-win situation.
So that sounds like, as an example, if we take a web professional, web designer, and
Yeah.
he would be charging per hour, what he would do,
Yeah.
he would take a project and say, okay, well, I'll deliver you the site that you requested for such amount of money
Yeah.
instead of charging
Yeah.
per hour.
Absolutely. Absolutely, you got it. And the secret here is to not say that the concept is exactly right, that you got there. But the secret would be here to say not, here is a website for 5,000 US dollars or 7,000 pounds or whatever it is, or whatever you charge. It's to say, here is a website for X amount. In that, you will get a home page, you will get an about you page, and you will get a products and services page. In order for me to build that page for you, you're going to have to come up with all the royalty-free photos for me. You'll have to give me all of the content and that I'm going to put in there. And I will give you 3 times to make edits to what I've produced. So that way you don't cut yourself too short as well. That way you protect yourself in terms of how far you can be stretched with this project. And a lot of people say, but that's just not the way it works. Clients is always going to want more and more. Clients want more and more because they're not clear on your scope. They're not clear on exactly what you're going to deliver to them. And that's where clarity and communication becomes a massively useful skill in successful business.
So be specific on exactly what they're going to get
Yep.
for that amount of money.
Absolutely, be very specific on that, and then they know. So that helps you to charge out amount of money. You know how long this process normally takes you, so you already have worked it in there. Maybe you've outsourced massive amounts of that process already out to other people because you know it's required, and that's how you start freeing yourself up more and more.
So what about, you already mentioned about existing clients, to transition from that, you cut down the hours and then go get the new clients on a project basis. How
Yeah.
do you transition your regular clients from per hour to project?
Yeah.
So
Well, how do you go from the one to the other, right?
Yeah.
Well, you can do it in 3 ways, probably. You can do it the Landi Jack way, where you literally go and sit around the boardroom table with them, you fire them, and say, you know what, I've been too operationally involved in your business. I want to get more strategically involved. I've been working with you for 6 to 12 months. So, the time, that it's not worth my investment. I'm investing in your business, but it's eating up all my time. So you have a straight conversation with them and you say to them, listen, so I don't want to actually bill you per hour anymore. Yes, I want to start billing you per project. I've been in your business now for some time. I understand your business, and understanding your business here is 3 projects that I propose immediately we can do for your business. And yeah, so let's get started. A lot of consultants struggle with that because they have created a precedent with their client. The client see them as operational. The client don't see them as strategic. So you have to be quite strong and confident to make that transition like that. So your second option would be to actually talk to your clients, start reducing the retainer contract with them. Just say to them, you know what, your time is getting a bit more limited. You don't think they need actually as much hours from you anymore. A lot of clients appreciate it from the bottom of your heart when you're honest with them that way. And then you go and look for clients elsewhere. And the new clients that you're looking for elsewhere, you position yourself differently. So from day one, you don't tell them that you bill out per hour. From day one, you sell to them projects, and you make sure that the deliverables is clear. And then obviously your third strategy would be a combination of both. So either stay and sell projects within your current client base, or go outside and look for new clients and sell them per project base, or start parallel, do a combination of both right away.
How about, when people change from certain price to the next price up? I know that a lot of people struggle with actually coming up with the prices. How do they, choose what they can start pricing now per project other than per hour?
It's a very, very good question. And I find many times that it's good if you're going to go and do a massive calculation on what your per hour time is worth, you're going to really make it quite complex for yourself. And I never want to put value on a person's head. I don't think we should put value on our heads and on what an hour of our time is worth. And the reason for that is that if you spend an hour of time with a loved one, it's priceless, right? There's no value you can put on that time. If a father spends time with his son, it's priceless. You can't put any value on that. You can't put a pound amount or a dollar or a rand amount or a ringgit amount on that or whatever. You can't do that. So, but you can put a value on is the extent to which a product or service will help someone achieve a certain result. So go and put a value on what you sell. So you say to the person, listen, here is a professional service. Let's come back to the website. Here's a professional service. I'm going to put a value on that. The value that I'm putting on that is 7,000 New Zealand dollars, for example. And I can put it at 7,000 New Zealand dollars because this is the return on investment you're going to get for your New Zealand dollars. So you will have to place a value on that is in alignment with what is happening in the market out there. And a big way of doing this is going to be to research your target market. Because if your target market cannot afford £7,000, then you need to change your target market. So if you're working in a small, medium enterprise environment, you're going to get disappointed if you're going to have a £7,000 website that you put out there. So lift it. Go and lift your target market. Go to a target market that is more elite. Maybe you're looking more for the next level business. Maybe you're looking for the business who is already employing 10 people. So that's where your research is going to come in. And the more thorough your research, and the more, it almost brings me back to one of our previous interviews, the psychology of your target market. The more you understand what they want, the more you'll understand what they would be willing to pay.
Amazing. So before we wrap up, let's go over the bullet points for people to, kind of have a structure of how do they get into
Right. Okay, so I would say number one would be to actually look at your current situation and look at it with a rational mind. If you're charging out per hour and you have a fee attached to that hour, you're going to run out of time at some stage. So you're going to need a model that's different. So I would say look at your current situation and evaluate your situation, assess it. I always say to people, take a snapshot, grab a pen, grab a paper, and go and do a realistic calculation at what stage are you going to hit the wall? At what stage are you going to have too many retainers and too little time and too little team to help you with that? So that would be number one. Number two would be to go and explore alternative projects. So I call it ring fencing. Go and write down, what project can I deliver to people right now and ring fence it. With ring fencing, I mean there's a start date and an end date to your project, and the project includes A, B, and C and has an amount attached to it. And then once you've done that, then go stack your offer. And by that I mean make this project lucrative. Make it helpful for people. Make sure that it solves a problem. Put bonuses in there. Put guarantees in there. And make it something that if you put it into a company or give it to a business owner, it really solves a problem for them. So that would be a very good start for you. The process gets a little bit more deeper, and there's quite detail involved with it. There's research and development involved with that. But those 3 steps will already help you to slowly but surely make a transition from your current situation that has a roof on it to a new situation that has opportunity and expansion in that gives you so much more doors to open in so many ways to actually raise your fees.
Amazing. Thank you so much for your advice today, Landi. It's been amazing. Let's hope that everybody goes and raises the prices.
Absolutely.
And
Thank you. Thank you, Svietlana. I love to be on your show.
thanks a lot. I look forward to seeing you the next week.
Bye. Bye,
Bye.
listeners.